Whenever you're given like word problems and you see coordinates and values, it's good to know what tools you were taught in this section. So here we're told to find the coordinates after being given the slope. So in the past problems, we had to solve for slope, but this one's different because we're actually told the slope is going to be -3/2. So it's almost like we have to work our way backwards from that. And what I'm saying about knowing what tools you've been taught, well, you only have like really one new tool in here, and that's going to be m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now I consider this a more challenging type of problem, but I also don't think it's like the end of the world crazy challenging problem. So, be a little tough for this one and step up to the plate a little bit more and don't just quit saying, oh, I just get this one wrong on the test. So there's the formula. And to make this more clear, we usually deal with the second guy first. So let's tag him as being, x sub 2. So he'd be the second one. And then y sub 2. So I'm just making a map for this problem now that we're early on. And if that's the second coordinate, that means that this one would be the first. X sub 1, y sub 1. Now really as I'm doing this problem, I'm just going to subtract them later on. I'm not going to think about it. But I want you guys to see this. And what we have here is really what would end up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unknown values. And if I have 5 unknown values, that means I'd better have 4 if I want to have a definite answer for any of these missing values. And what I mean by that is I have to know this, 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 and this if I hope to solve for y2. I have to know this, 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 and this if I have to solve for x sub 1. So no matter how you look at it, we have to have 4 of those 5 variables to find a missing value. So in this case, we need to find out what r is. And if I use my map, my first look is at m, and we know that the slope is 3/2 when it's a negative, -3/2. I'm going to rewrite -3/2. So now I still need 3 more values. And when I look at y sub 2, because I've mapped it, I'd really just be like, well, -3 minus 6. Oh, cool, we got those two ones. So I'll write -3 minus 6. And the reason that was possible is because I did y sub 2 minus y sub 1, and we knew that y sub 2 was here, and y sub 1 was there. So that just takes care of the numerator, which is nice because now I only need 1 more of these still 2 unknown values. So as I write this, keeping the same order, 10 minus r, I'm going to write 10 minus, and I'll change the color for r just to make it stand out a little bit. The temptation here is that we have an equal sign, and to solve for this, we might want to jump right into cross multiplying. But before we do that, let's try and simplify as much as we can. Well, -3/2 is already a simplified fraction, so we can't do anything there. But I do know that -3 minus 6 is -9, so I will simplify that, but I'm stuck leaving my denominator as 10 minus r. Move this up to give myself some room, so now we will cross multiply. And I'll show all my steps for this, because I want to see that 2 got multiplied by -9 when I look at my notes later on. I also want to see that -3 is getting multiplied by 10 minus r. But of course, I would need to have parentheses there to make sure that the 3 gets multiplied by both 10 and the -r. Still not really solving on this left side yet, just simplifying. And since my variable is in the parentheses, I could distribute now. Or I could be like, well, maybe it would be nice to divide by -3 later. But I think I'll distribute because I think that's what most people looking at this problem would do. Negative times a negative turns positive. I got minus 30 that I want to get rid of so that the 3r gets by itself. And then I'll just jump the 3r to the left side. -18 plus 30 gives me 12. And I get r is 4. So if I look at the problem, we had to find the value of r so that the line through r6 and so on would have that certain slope. And if I look at this, I'm going to rewrite this in red just so I can talk us through it. By accident, I wrote 6 there. I fixed that. Let's check out our answer. So if I want to recalculate the slope, I'll say, well, negative 3 minus 6 over 10 minus r, which is 4, would give me negative 9 over 6, which would simplify to negative 3 halves, which is the target slope we wanted. We can check these problems for 2 reasons. One, I think it deepens our understanding. That extra step makes sure we're not tripping anything up, and we know why we did this problem this way. And then secondly, it's being thorough, guaranteeing that we're accurate as we move forward. Find the value of r so that the line through 1, 4, negative 1, r has a slope of 2. I will get you started. Here's m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Pause this and try to plug in these. All right, here you go. Y2 minus y1, r minus 4, negative 1 minus 1. If you have those mistaken, pause the video and fix it. So I said that was kind of our starting point. Now we're going to work on this algebra part together where we'd solve it. Simplifying, 2 is going to be equal to r minus 4 over a negative 2. Now here it looks a little bit strange. We just cross-multiplied, and if you really love that, go ahead and place this over 1 and do it your way. However, I see that I have the variable r in the numerator, and that means that I can't really work this out nicely unless I get rid of this denominator down here. So I'm just going to multiply by a negative 2 on both sides, but being sure that I put parentheses around this for clarity. The 2's that are negative cancel out. On the left side I have 2 times 2 is negative 4, and then on the right side I will have only r minus 4 left, and then once I add 4 to both sides, I'll see that r is 0. Again, we do want to check that r is accurate. And you'll be able to do these in your head. You might be able to be like, okay, well, 0 minus 4 is blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to write it out so it's clear. The slope would have to be y2 minus y1, which is 0 minus 4. Excuse me. And then the denominator would be negative 1 minus 1, which would simplify to negative 4 over negative 2, which would just be positive 2, which checks out. And that's where, you probably don't want to have to rewrite the whole thing, try to type it into a calculator using parentheses for the numerator and denominator, whatever you got to do. Okay, let me take a look at this. Yeah, you're on your own for this one. You're good here. I'll just put with the, no, you're good. Pause it, OEO, check it with a friend. This is going to be more similar to number 1 than 2 because the r is in the denominator. All right. As a class, we might later look at 48 on, but those are a little bit more challenging, but a ton of practice here. This is really the beginning of everything you will end up doing for most all of your middle and high school math experiences. It's just really the foundation of algebra, how quickly things happen over time. And even people in calculus are still dealing with slope, and it kind of becomes muscle memory after 3 to 4 years of practicing it. All right. Good luck.